What's up, Rad Dads, and welcome back to another episode of the Rad Dads podcast, hosted by none other than the two raddest dads on the East Coast. I am joined in studio today by a very special guest. Say hello, special guest.
Is that me, Sal? All right, Rob's in the house.
Yeah. Rob is a special guest.
Yeah, well, way to sell that one.
Yes. It's been a while since we recorded. Rob was getting over some serious issues, mental.
No, they were COVID related. Thank you.
So now he's back. He's back
COVID
in action.
to the chin. It was bad.
Would you take on the chin?
COVID.
No.
I had essentially. I mean, it's the flu, right? So I had a 102 temperature for 3 days.
Don't say that. Nope.
All right,
it's
similar symptoms of the flu. This version, right?
Did you have BA5?
I have fucking no idea what I had, but I hope no one else ever has that the way I had it. I couldn't even get out of bed. Sal's like, get up, go do something. I was like, I'm
Move
dying.
around.
I'm like, I'm dying.
Move around, you little bitch.
Then I call the doctor. He's like, so I know this is going to be hard, but you got to walk around. And I'm like, Doc, I'm running a 102 temperature, popping as many Tylenol as I possibly can in a day to drop the temperature. I literally, so
that's your problem right there. You had Tylenol.
Ibuprofen, whatever the hell it is. I don't know. It wasn't Tylenol.
Motrin.
Yeah, it was something like that. So hold on. Here's the thing. You usually get sick, your fever breaks, and it's like a one-time thing. Like you break, like when your fever breaks, you get the sweats it out, and it's done.
Yep.
That happened like 4 times to me.
Mm.
So every time I went to bed or fell asleep,
sweat,
puddles of
sweat.
It was horrible,
dude. My body was fighting something years ago. I actually had
knows
to wake.
What that is.
Don't tell nobody. I woke up. I shit you not. So we have a mattress pad cover. It's plastic to protect our mattress.
Sure it is.
Because other than extracurricular activities to protect our fucking $7,000 mattress.
Holy shit! Is it made of gold?
Yeah, and it gives you a rub and tug too.
Nice.
It's got the feature, the button. It's got a remote control. It's got everything.
It's got a glory hole.
Yeah, it's got a glory hole. It's got a bidet. It's got. I mortgaged the mattress.
So expensive mattress,
dude. I fucking woke up in a puddle. When I tell you a fucking puddle, a puddle. I had to go to the linen closet and grab a towel and put the towel down to fucking fall asleep again.
I mean, that's exactly what happened. It was crazy. So that's funny you say that because that's exactly what I did. I went and got a towel, laid it every night. I freaking put a towel underneath me. It was ridiculous. Woke up, the towel was soaked. I was like, this is nuts.
Did you lose like 20 pounds?
I think I lost like 5 pounds, 6 pounds.
That's it?
Nice weight loss progression.
Forced weight loss.
Sure, I've gained it back since then.
So you're on the mend.
I am on the mend.
He's drinking bourbon again, so he's good. I told him he's got to drink bourbon. Just fucking pop Tylenol and drink bourbon. That fever will break.
I was miserable. I really hope I don't ever experience that again, and I hope no one else does. It was pretty bad.
I knew it was bad when he wouldn't text back.
Yeah, I was probably sleeping. I couldn't.
Rob, how you feeling? 12 hours later, fuck you.
Yeah, because I was asleep. So I worked Tuesday and pretty much hit a wall and just passed out. And then Wednesday I woke up.
Were you wearing a helmet?
No, I made it on a bunch of calls. I made it until early afternoon. But I started early, so it was a little crazy. And then Wednesday, I just couldn't do it. I called out. Wednesday and Thursday, I just called out. I was like, I can't do it. I couldn't even get out of bed. Thursday was a little bit better, but Wednesday was miserable.
That is the worst.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. So what are we talking about, Sal? Look at you.
Yeah, I'm getting tired of fucking leaning down.
Yeah, because we need a fucking boom mic.
Yeah. Somebody keeps saying they're going to buy boom mics, and they fucking keep forgetting. Yeah, I'm holding the mic up because it sucks.
That's how big as it gets. Look at it.
Oh, Rob, figures you would say that.
Oh, boy.
So Rob and I were having a conversation prior to the show, prepping for the show, because we got so many topics that we want to cover. And one topic that came up, do you, and I think the word reprimand is very strong. Did somebody just drop your wallet or something? That was loud. Holy shit. We're in studio tonight and something happened up above us. I don't know what it is, but you want to text the fam, make sure they're okay. Rob's on it. Mass text through the house. Is everybody okay? Someone's foot came through the ceiling. Got to patch that hole, Rob. Oh, Rob, don't spackle. So back to the... yeah.
Spackle's still on the wall. Don't worry about it.
A big schnot of spackle still there. Rob's a great spackler. So a topic that we were talking about, and I think the word reprimand might be a little strong. Because when I think of reprimand, I think of something totally different.
I said reprimand. Sal gives me like a dirty look. I was like, what? Like, what do you mean? And I was like, oh, okay, sorry. In Italian household, reprimand means a fucking wooden spoon or shoes flying at you.
You ever beat my kid? I'll come over with my pistola. So the question is, do you reprimand a friend's child in front of your friend? So if your friend's child is acting a fool, do you correct them, or do you let them continue to act a fool until something happens? See, I'm the type of person that likes to eliminate
fools.
Any potential. No. I like to eliminate any potential bad scenarios or bad reactions to something that's happening. So I kind of I'm 4 steps ahead because I see what's happening and I know what the outcome is going to be. So I try to either...
Are you like a seer from ancient Rome?
Yes. So I either guide the ship in a different direction that it's going, because if it maintains the direction that it's going in, it's catastrophic failure.
You do not have boys.
It's gonna be like the Titanic. It's gonna hit an iceberg, and there's gonna be crying kids and people flailing all over the place.
You mean doing backflips off a ladder in a 4-foot pole?
Yeah.
Oh, fucking genius.
Yes. So that is what I'm saying. So if you're especially if they're by your house and they're running around acting a fool, you?
I think in your house, you have a liability there. So I think it's if they're doing something that is potentially hazardous to them or your kids or your house or all of the above,
like playing with the chainsaw in the tool shed.
Yeah, not good. Actually, you know what's funny? You say that.
Somebody was playing with a chainsaw.
Not funny, but I moved all my power tools, more like the lawn equipment.
Yes, I know. Everybody's laughing. Hold on a second.
Shut up.
You know why they're laughing, Rob, right?
Yeah.
Because you said you had power tools.
Power tools. So all my outside equipment, lawn equipment, and all my gasoline into the shed, so that nobody, and the shed's locked, so no one's playing with any of that. I don't. It could easily happen.
I have yet to see this shed. Air quotes.
It's beautiful.
I know. You took down the old pole barn.
Yeah, I did.
And you put up this massive thing you call a shed.
It's massive.
Yeah, that's what she said. Not to you. Oh.
He beat me to it. He beat me to the punch. Bastard. So I think in your house, I do believe like you're right. You steer the ship away from the catastrophe. But I think if it's your kids, you can be like, hey, listen, like these are your friends, don't do stuff. And I know with my oldest, he's actually responsible enough to be like, hey guys, like listen, we shouldn't be doing this. My youngest, all bets are off.
So we've had this conversation with the kids. This is your house. When you have friends over and you decide you want to throw the ball at the window, guess what your friend's going to do? Do the same thing you're going to do. I said, but you live here. You have to respect this house. If they see that you respect your home, do you think they're going to throw the ball at the window? And I said, if they do, what are you going to do? Well, we'll tell them not to throw the ball at the window. I said, right. I said, what happens if they throw it really hard. Well, the window could possibly break. I said, guess what I'm going to say? You'll be very mad. So that's what I'm saying. I try to, I'm like 3-4 steps ahead, and I see what's going on. I see what they're doing, and it's like, okay, guys, enough doing what you're doing. Leave the garden tools alone. I don't think you should be playing with that rake, or the ice pick. Just no running around the backyard with that stuff. Someone can get hurt. They play Dungeons and Dragons.
Who does?
Nobody.
Oh. Oh my god. So you mean at your house, no one can jump off the treehouse into the pool?
You can't make it.
I guarantee someone's going to try at your house at some point.
Unless you stand on the rail
Yeah.
and jump.
Someone's going to try it.
That'll hurt. That will definitely hurt. I've had kids jump off the platform of the treehouse into the grass.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm supposed to put the fire pole up.
That's pretty high.
Yeah, that's got to be at least 8 feet.
You want to talk about liability? Where were you steering that ship?
The kid was midair when I saw him the first time.
You hit that iceberg.
Yeah.
Like the Titanic.
No. The iceberg, it would have been...
You're lucky. You're lucky you didn't break anything.
Kid down, broken ankle.
Yeah.
That would have been the iceberg. But he was midair. I was like, I'm at the kitchen window. I was like, what the fudge cake? I run outside. I said, dude, don't you ever do that again. I said, are you out of your mind?
I would have been losing my head.
My kids were like, we told them not to do it. I said, look, you guys can play in the treehouse. None of that. Or else I'm going to caution tape this bitch up.
Yeah, that's scary. That's a height. That's at
that
least
is,
8 feet.
man. That's freaking broken ankles and
Knucklehead was jumping off the ladder, which is
that's 5 feet.
5 feet into a 4-foot pool.
No, feet first is fine.
Feet first is fine. Not doing a backflip.
Land on your feet. It's finer.
God, he's out of control. Out of control, this kid.
So, do you reprimand your friends' kids?
I think you're right. If they're in your house, I'm not going to reprimand them. I'll tell them to knock it off. I'll tell the group of them to knock it off, and then I'll talk to my son, whichever one it is. So you will be indirect. I'll be indirect unless they're doing something obviously like blatantly stupid. Like if they try to do something that is, like running with scissors or something like that. Like I'm gonna tell them, yo, knock it off. Like
that's a game in my house.
But you know what I mean? Like it's something that's so blatant.
No,
like they're playing with matches or they're trying to, play with the gas on the stove or something like. I'm just naming things that are like blatantly hazardous to their health.
Like, hello.
Yeah. Like sticking your hand in the, is this going to hurt? Can you try that at your own house, not here?
I don't have insurance.
Yeah. So I will in that regard. I think it also depends on how familiar you are with the parents. Like,
well, sure.
If we're different kids, different parents, we vacation with another family and we're to the point where we're so close as friends that, I don't care if they say something to my kids, if they're misbehaving or vice versa. I know that, it's whatever, it's to each their own. But when you're vacationing, there has to be that like steady state that everyone's happy with. So, if the kids are messing around or yelling or screaming, it's not acceptable. Like I don't want to sit there. This is my vacation. I don't want to sit there and listen to you guys screaming. Like, and boys love to scream at high pitched volumes. Apparently,
so do
they
girls.
Think it's hysterical.
So do girls.
Yeah, but no, they think it's hysterical, and
they
know it's annoying.
Oh yeah, no, I correct my kids.
Oh, they get corrected. They think it's still funny.
But you got to correct them the right way.
Yeah, I don't correct them that way.
So I got into an argument with my wife. What's today? Today's Tuesday? Monday. I got into an argument with my wife yesterday, I believe. So we don't like our kids eating junk. And
I know, that's why I always bring it to your house.
You bastard. So I'm pretty much the only one in my house that chews gum.
Yeah.
So my wife bought me two boxes of gum I store in my workstation. And my wife and I just came back from the weekend, and the conversation got into somehow chewing gum. I said, "Oh, where did you get the gum from?" Blank stares. I said, "Did you take my gum?" And they said, "Yes." I said, "So you stole from me?" So my wife says I was wrong by saying that that my kids stole from me. What do you think?
Why you put me on the spot? Maritza's always right. I'm just saying. She's listening.
She's in the room next door.
So I think it depends, because we buy gum for the house, but it's for everybody. Right?
See, I don't buy gum for the house.
We put it so there. We put it upstairs in their
nightstands.
No, in an all-purpose, like, family accessible shelf, so a family accessible cabinet. So that for me, that's not stealing. Now, if I have gum on my desk and my kids that take it, I don't put it away. So
is stealing a harsh term?
I wouldn't consider it stealing. I would say it's more like you're taking it without asking.
Right.
Because it's not.
So technically it's stealing.
It's not food. No, because here's the difference. For you, it's more about the nutrition, and you don't want them to develop a habit of chewing gum, right? So it's more of, hey, this is a reward, or this is, something that you get as your treat, versus, hey, listen, this is something you can do every day.
So you're saying it's not stealing because they didn't ask permission. It's more of they took it without asking permission.
Correct.
So if I walk into a Wawa and I take a Snickers and I put it in my pocket, I didn't ask permission to put it in my pocket.
The Wawa is not your parent. And it's not in the house you live in. Nice try, though.
But it would be considered stealing.
Yes, because you don't live there.
This is true. If I lived there, it'd be a fucking problem.
Be like 200 pounds. No, but I get what you're saying, and I do.
And my kids got upset because I took their phones. And my wife's like, I don't agree with you.
Do you look for any reason to take their phones?
I know that's the only thing I got leverage on.
Yeah, me too. So it's the first thing. And if my kid's on his phone, I just walk up and take it right out of his hand.
Oh, you do the snatcheroo, like, give me that shit.
Because they'll be on it for hours, and I'm like, what are you doing? You're not texting your friends. Like, if you're texting your friends, I don't care. But I know that, like, most of the time he's playing some stupid game, and I just take it out of his hand. I'm like, what are you doing? And I look at it, and I was like, nope, not taking this again.
Outside.
Yeah, and listen, since we put the pool in, that's all, like, this morning, they were outside filling it up, making sure it was ready for today. So I'm happy with it.
Awesome. Good job.
Yeah.
How are you going to winterize it?
No idea. Take it down. Reset it up next year. The thing's freaking big. It's bigger than I thought it was going to be.
That's too funny.
I got to level it out, though, because you see it's like bulging on one side.
What are you going to do, man? You can't do anything about that.
It's like, I have to raise it like, I don't know, a couple, like not even a foot, but.
It's a whole lot of sand you got to put down.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on raising it? What were you thinking about doing?
I guess sand.
Sand.
Yeah.
It's the only thing.
Sand with railroad tires around it? I don't know.
Nah, just put sand.
Just put sand? I don't have to rake that shit out once the pool's gone.
You ain't raking nothing out. Unless you just put the bags of sand. Well, it's too late now because you got it filled.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
You know how long it takes to fill?
Yeah, next year.
Like a day and a half.
So next year, just buy bags of sand and just lay the bags down. Don't open the bags. So
really?
If you don't want to rake the sand out.
Yeah.
So back to the topic, Rob. Do you reprimand your friends' kids?
Do I reprimand my friends' kids? I think situationally, yes.
I'll correct them. Like if they're doing something like foolish, I'll be like, dude, no.
If they're doing something foolish, definitely. I don't feel comfortable with most. To be honest with even some of my close friends, I wouldn't feel comfortable. Like I wouldn't reprimand your girls.
Dude, if my kids were doing something stupid and I wasn't there,
yeah,
or I'm too inebriated to say something, I would hope you'd say, "Hey."
Well, I would be like,
"What
girls,
would your
what are you
father
doing?"
say?
That I will say. Like, girls, what are you doing? I wouldn't reprimand most of my friends' kids. I don't think. I think if they were doing something like blatantly blatantly stupid, I'd say something, but I don't think I would go out of my way to reprimand them. I think some of the moms have a better relationship with the kids because they see them all the time at school, and I think they would.
Okay.
But
Maybe.
I don't feel like
So sometimes what I do is if I see them doing something really stupid to my kid, I ask the question, hey, would you like it if my kid started doing that to you? They look at you like, no. I said, so stop. So, I mean, I mean, my opinion, it depends on how close you are with the family and
I think that's very important.
Sure.
Because would you reprimand your sister or your brother's kids?
Sure, if they're doing something dumb, yeah.
What about your in-laws' kids?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
So they're up for the weekend, or no, for 10 days. And my wife actually laid the law down. She goes, you keep your hands to yourself, my kids will keep their hands to themselves. No physical touching. My kids don't wrestle. We don't wrestle in this house.
Really?
I tell you once, and that's it.
What house is this that there's no wrestling? It's like a daily occurrence in my house.
Well, you got boys. I got girls. So now, and he's got a dog, and he's very, I don't want to say physical with his dog. He roughhouses the dog. And he picked up the old man, and he bumped his head on the dresser. I said, look, I'm going to tell you this once. I said, he's the old man, and you know that. You don't treat my dogs like you treat your dogs. I said, if you hurt my dogs, your aunt is going to be very upset with you. I said, so you be very gentle with these dogs. And he looked at me. He goes,
does he have like a bigger, medium-sized dog?
Almost. I don't want to say double the size as Oliver.
Yeah,
like a size and a half. It's almost like a 25-pound dog.
Interesting.
Yeah, but he roughhouses with him.
Yeah.
So I told him, I said, you hurt my dogs, your aunt is going to be very upset.
What's the dad lesson?
I mean, I think ties back to our conversation where the topic is, it depends on the situation I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to reprimand a friend's child, especially like you said, if they're doing something blatantly messed up. I think you have to, and especially if it's going to lead to an injury, right? If it's blatant and it's going to lead to an injury, I would expect you to reprimand my kids, like, hey, what are you doing? It's silly. But depending on the situation, some parents may take offense to that.
Yeah, so I
think you may lose friendships because of that.
Well, I think, listen, you may, but there's another side to that. If it's at your house, I think you have the responsibility to make sure that nothing happens. Because, listen, if something, and I hate to say this, if something were to happen at your house and a kid broke his ankle, cut his foot, twisted, whatever, and the parent said, hey, it's really your fault. You're like, what do you mean it's my fault? Kid was running around, he tripped, he fell, whatever. What am I supposed to do about that?
How crazy would that be? And then you wind up in this whole...
Yeah, then you wind up... So I think for your own safety, if it's at your house, yes, you should, be protective. But at the same point, you have to do it in a way that is not going to ruffle anybody's feathers.
Make any waves.
Yeah. But I mean, at the same point, you could say, hey, listen, I just saw your kid doing this. I kind of... And this is... I've actually done this is, hey, I saw your kid doing this. I said something to them, so just in case they come back and they're upset, know that I did reprimand them. And they're like, all right, thanks. I've never had...
that is a way to approach it. Yeah, because kids tell stories.
Yeah, I'm not doing it to actually like overrule your parenting. I'm doing it more to make sure your kid is safe and there's not going to be a disaster at my house or like even if I'm at my friend's house and I see something like that happening, I'll be like, hey, like, guys, that's not a good idea. And then I'll go tell their parents and be like, hey, listen, just so you know, this is what's going on in the backyard.
You know what? I've done that before. But I went a step further. I said, look, I don't want to get your child in trouble. This is what was going, was the situation. And I addressed the situation because it looked like it wasn't going in the right direction. But I just wanted you to know. And they said, oh, thanks.
Yeah. All right. I think it's that time. There we go. I almost pressed the wrong button. Sal saved me.
I saved you, Rob. I saved you. All right, everybody. It is that time of the episode. We are tasting tonight Basil Hayden. This is original Basil Hayden. Artificially aged. No.
Fuck that up.
Yeah. It says artfully aged. Let me correct that. It's not artificially aged. It's artfully aged. So the alcohol classification is Kentucky Straight Bourbon. Distillery is Kentucky Springs Distilling Company. It is 80 proof, 40% alcohol by volume. It is a small batch. Color, this has got to be, I believe, one of the lightest bourbons we've had. I'm going to say it's a blondish. Blondish?
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Blondish. Price point, $49 to $59. Little history behind the Basil Hayden. Basil Hayden bourbon brand was introduced in 1992 and is named in honor of Basil Hayden Sr. Hayden was a distiller, and he used a large amount of rye in his mash, then in some other bourbons. Later, Hayden's grandson, Raymond B. Hayden, founded a distillery in Nelson County and named his label Old Grandad in honor of his grandfather, which bears a rendering of Basil Sr.'s likeness. When Beam Industries introduced their small batch collection, among the four was Basil Hayden. The company says it uses a mash identical to Knob Creek, which is similar to the originally utilized by Hayden in 1792. That's a long time ago. So Basil Hayden is owned by Suntory Beam and is produced, Basil Hayden is produced in the Jim Beam Distillery in Claremont, Frankport, Kentucky.
Huh. I didn't know it was in Jim Beam.
Yeah. It's made in their distillery.
Interesting.
Look at that. You learn something new every day.
That's why I do this podcast, to learn something new every day.
Yes. I agree with you, Rob. Yes. So nose and aroma, I got peaches, hint of oak, and orange zest. Dry glass. Dry glass, I get the oak barrel. Tasting notes, peaches, vanilla. Finish, it's a rye spice on the finish. Overall, due to being a lightly proofed, 80 proof bourbon, the rye spice finish is not overpowering. It is actually rather enjoyable.
Did you say cinnamon?
I didn't say cinnamon. I said orange zest. He's got his schnoz in the dry glass. I got the oak barrel. You getting cinnamon? Cinnamon or oak barrel?
Cinnamon.
Oh, yeah, there we go. I get the cinnamon. A few weeks ago, I was on the couch. What's so funny about me being on the couch?
Just as I take a sip, I was like, where's this going? Oh,
so
boy.
I had a Joseph Magnus, yes. I was going to say Magnum because I was thinking about Magnum PI.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I had Joseph Magnus, and that's a nice bourbon. I finished the glass, and I'm watching the movie. I was like, wow, that is the glass was probably about 18 to 24 inches away from me.
You can smell it?
Oh my God, dry glass. It was powerful.
So what is your rating for this?
I'm gonna give it a 7.0, Rob. I like it. I enjoyed it. It's a nice. This might be my go-to along with the Buffalo Trace. I like it. It's just
It's a little bit pricier than Buffalo Trace, but it's definitely tasty.
Definitely tasty.
I haven't had Buffalo Trace in a long time. I should pop open one of those
I
bottles.
believe Basil Hayden was the first first glass of bourbon I've had.
Buffalo Trace was my first.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember it. You always remember your first.
Indeed you do, Rob. Indeed you do. So, Rob, why don't you give your analysis? What's the matter?
No, wrong one. All right. So I think the taste it's honestly a lot better than I expected. I'm breaking it down. Remember, I got rid of my price point because price of inflation can't correlate anymore to what we did a year or 2 years ago.
This is true.
So
Fuck inflation. Holy bananas.
I think taste is a 3. I very rarely give a taste a 3, but this is good. It's nice. It's mellow. And maybe it's because of the 80 proof. That may be it, but it's a flavorful bourbon. I really do enjoy it. The aroma is also nice, a nice sweet cinnamon, a little hint of the oakish. There is a sweetness to it too. I'm a pretty big fan. I think the aroma I'm gonna give it a 3 too. But then the finish, I think the finish is nice. There's a slight burn and a little bit lingering tingling. So
lingering tingling.
Say that 5 times fast. But I think I am going to give it. So I'm at a 6. I'm gonna give it. You know what? I'm gonna give aroma a 2, and I'm gonna give the finish a 1.5. So I'm gonna go 6.5 on this. Is that what you wrote for me?
Yeah.
Yeah, 6.5. Listen. It's great. It's definitely a shelf staple.
You haven't said that in a long time.
Haven't said that in a long time.
Wow.
So I've actually had this bottle sitting on my mantle for a long time. I'm probably gonna get a backup bottle now.
I'm glad you opened it.
Yeah, did some damage to it.
About
But
damn time.
yeah, it's delicious. It
Like,
really is.
Like Lizzo said, it's about damn time.
There's other versions of it. There's toast and some other stuff. So we may venture out.
I think there's 3 different versions, but I hear mixed reviews about the toasted.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to give it a try and see how it stands up to the regular original.
Yeah. So Rob, I think that concludes our episode for tonight. Don't you think?
Thank you for joining us for another episode of the Rad Dads Podcast. Tune in next time to listen to Sal and Rob interview somebody, or maybe just shoot the shit.
It's about Rob, how serious he is.
She said it didn't.